All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Reading Room Ruffians, our podcast for all things library. We review books, talk of upcoming programs, library stories, guest speakers, and generally things that happen in our library. We are a group of librarians from Jackson County, West Virginia. Today, we are going to finish discussing Scythe. Before we get into that, we're going to talk about some more programs.
So, some programs that are coming up for us. Last time we touched on things that were going on in May. This time I'll mention a couple of things that are going on in June. Ravenswood is having another plant swap on June 6th. On June 13th, they're going to have a family game night, which I think will be their 5th one that they're having.
I think so.
So that's going pretty good. So if you want to go over there to play games with the family, that'd be awesome. And then they're going to have a family craft night on June 27th. I do not know what craft they're doing. They probably don't know what craft they're doing yet because it's about a month and a half out as of right now. But I do want to remind everyone that we will be having summer reading coming up starting in June, both at Ripley and Ravenswood. And we do ages from 18 months all the way up to adults. So lots of fun will be had. We will have crafts and reading logs and final parties and all kinds of things going on for that. So.
And I'm sure that Amy's going to have another bingo for books
coming up absolutely.
soon. We haven't picked a date for it. But instead of, that's what you win. When you bingo, you get a book.
Yeah.
So, and she makes sure that everybody goes home with something.
Yeah.
With at least one book, yeah.
People love this. So that's a very popular one. So that'll definitely be happening. We also want to let everyone know that if you have not read Scythe by Neal Shusterman, this podcast episode will have tons of spoilers. So if you haven't read it, maybe stop and go read the book. Or if you don't mind spoilers, go ahead and continue to listen.
All right. Zach, I think you had a lot of notes you wanted to get to, so I'll let you start it off.
Okay. I have so many notes. Let's see here. Let's go with first initial thing just about Faraday that I didn't get to last time. He seemed a little pretentious about pre- and post-mortality art. I'm just going to point that out.
Oh my God, you have just offended Mallory.
I am so personally
He was a little pretentious about it. I get it. They discussed it a lot in the book about how pre-mortality art just seems to have a lot more meaning than post-mortality art. I guess that makes sense.
Says the man who has, a pour-over coffee thing and is super pretentious anyway.
I'm not saying pretentious is bad. I'm just saying he seemed a little pretentious.
I think he was right.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if you really think about it, they don't really have pain or sorrow or anything like that because your nanites are essentially balancing you at all times. And if they're not, you can go and get balanced anytime.
Yeah,
and
some of the best stuff is made by people who are
I mean, sure, pain. You got like Van Gogh or
pain is art.
Pain is, sure, there's the whole pain is art thing, but you've also got masters who do all kinds of non-painful art that's like really good.
There's joyful stuff too.
There's tons of joyful stuff.
There's intense feeling.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah, you have to have the intense emotion, but I feel like you can just dial back your nanites and stuff and get that intense emotion. Like, it doesn't always have to be all upsetting. I mean, I feel like it would shift the focus away from death and more towards some other sort of thing.
Life.
I think it's kind of similar to what we do now, though. I mean, the Mona Lisa, people like revere this artwork. And I've seen the Mona Lisa in person,
mm-hmm.
and it's not that impressive. I said what I said.
You know why the Mona Lisa is so, important nowadays or, well known? It's because it was stolen. Beforehand, nobody knew what that painting was, and then it got stolen, and everybody knew what it was, and it became famous. Isn't that wild?
But, you see pictures of it, and you imagine it being so much bigger and so much,
more encompassing? It's just not. Yeah, it's
and
tiny.
Then you go there, and it's it's not an 8x10, but that's what it feels like compared to what you imagine in your head.
It really is.
You're it's an 8x10 sheet of paper hung up on the wall with, 300 people surrounding it. Guys, come on. There's so much better artwork. There's the artwork that takes up an entire wall. That's impressive to me.
Yeah.
I thought Van Gogh's sunflowers were impressive.
The sunflowers.
I love his sunflowers.
Because, print is I kept thinking, why are they just going crazy over this print? Because I never thought it was that great. But when I actually saw the real one, it is all that.
Mm-hmm.
It is amazing.
Melissa is not.
Yeah.
Well,
but I think that's kind of like, where he's at, it's kind of that same kind of mentality that we have now with artwork.
mm-hmm.
So I don't know how pretentious that is as opposed to just preference.
I mean, sure, it could just be preference. I just don't buy the whole that all post-mortality art is not worth seeing.
Well, that's probably not true.
I don't think he said that.
I don't remember.
I don't
that.
think he said that.
He didn't explicitly say that. It was implied in the text.
It was kind of implied that the modern stuff in their time is like not great.
Yeah.
But I kind of think that about our time. So
Yeah.
I mean, people don't appreciate a lot of art until after the artist is dead.
Yeah.
Which is sad, honestly.
Yeah, and then you pick out the best stuff from that era. It's like, why are all the songs from like the 60s, 70s, 80s so amazing? They're not. We just remember the good ones.
No, they're that amazing. I know.
I think this is what we call bias. Anyway.
No, it's just honesty.
Next thing I wanted to talk about. So we already talked about the kids. The whole space discussion got shut down for like later stuff. But I do think that they could have some deep space travel at some point. Because, I mean, you just don't die. You put in your good stuff there in the thing so you can just live forever in the ships and you're good to go. But we can talk about that maybe at some later date if we talk about the rest of the series.
Maybe when the podcast is over, me and Mallory can tell you stuff. We can talk about it at book club.
Yeah.
Sounds good. So, okay. So there's no job. Oh, so why? So there's jobs, right? Everybody has jobs. It seems like a lot of the jobs are just kind of useless.
Time killers.
They're just time killers.
They
I feel
are.
like it feels like there should be some more purposeful jobs, I think, honestly.
Well, there are. You just don't hear about a lot of them. Like Citra's mom does food synthesis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Synthesis.
Which is important, but
it's not a huge thing either. I mean,
Oh, yeah. That was actually a thing, though.
I can't remember what her dad did.
I don't even
Oh,
know.
and history.
Yeah, he was a
okay,
historian.
yeah.
Yeah, so Faraday didn't think that they should have jobs at all. I thought that was kind of funny. He was a little biased, though, I think, about that as well.
I think this would have been the perfect time, the perfect world to do what you love to do.
That would be better.
And it doesn't seem to me like people were doing that.
Yeah.
No.
I think people just got bored.
Yeah, I think
And so they picked something to do that felt like it gave them meaning.
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know. The way it seems is they're just sort of assigned a job based on what they would be good at by the Thunderhead.
Yeah, but you don't have to do what the Thunderhead says.
No, I'm just saying.
Tiger, Rowan's friend, was always like, I wanted to be a professional partier, which honestly sounds like the best job. And the Thunderhead, Rowan's like, I'm sure the Thunderhead didn't approve of you doing that. And he's like, yeah, but he can't stop me.
Yeah.
So you can do what you want.
Tiger's fun. Yeah, I don't know. It felt like some people would have more, I guess, meaningful jobs or try to do some more meaningful jobs. And at least they didn't discuss it in the book. I'm sure there is some, right?
I'm trying to remember.
I mean, I'm sure there's like
they talk about
scientists.
more stuff.
I don't know
later,
that they
but
do in this book, though.
Is it gleanings? Maybe
I
that
think
they go
so. Yeah,
into a
because
lot
you
more?
see a lot of
Yeah.
different jobs in gleanings.
Yeah.
But would they need them? I mean,
They really
Thunderhead-
don't.
You don't.
Yeah.
You don't really need them. He's got everything.
Under control.
Yeah,
It's like
he could
That's-
run the world without any help.
Yeah, the only ones they need, I think, would be, unless the Thunderhead explicitly just did this with like bots and stuff, would be the sort of space travel research at some point. I feel like they're going to need that, and they do work on that a decent chunk.
Just drop
you not-
the space.
did you
it's
not
not in
remember-
this book, so quit.
Did you not remember the whole building getting gleaned?
Yeah, but that's because Goddard clearly has some bias against space travel, and I'm not sure why, but he's just kind of a douche. So there you go.
actually, there must be something going on that we don't know about, Zach, because this series...
No. There's definitely something. I'm aware of this. It's pretty obvious that he doesn't like it for some reason, and I don't know why yet.
This is why I need you all to finish reading the book.
Also,
Right? Meow.
his name is Goddard. Come on.
Yes.
That's kind
I
of...
was because I thought it was funny because of the Goddard Space.
Yeah, because Goddard Space Flight Center. Yeah. No, Goddard is literally a dude who worked on space. I think he's actually gotten canceled recently.
They're going to explode. We're going to have to change the subject.
Okay, anyway, so...
It's killing me.
I haven't breathed in 5 minutes.
Let's see here. I like this whole discussion about how austerity was a choice in this place where there's post-scarcity. So, like, if you live in an austere way, right, it's by choice. There's no reason for you to do it.
Yeah.
Although...
Which is kind of cool, but also, as someone growing up without much, and being an adult and not having much, I'm like, why would you pick this? Why? Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I'm like, I want to live in the cabin in the woods where I have to make my own stuff because I'm messed up in the head.
I mean, you could go for that little sort of minimalist vibe, and it makes sense.
I am not a minimalist,
and you wouldn't really have to struggle with it either.
No. In a perfect world, I could have this, but I could also, have other things that I don't have to make myself.
You can do the simple life, but also have a lot.
Yeah. The whole economy didn't make a ton of sense to me, if I'm real honest. Like they have UBI.
Isn't
right?
Really real.
Well, no, it's fake, but still, there are people with a lot more money than others, a lot more power and a lot more money than others.
Yeah.
We've seen this, but it just seemed weird to me. I do like the idea of UBI, though. We should have that here, guys. Just saying. Amazon, Google, all you guys, you got too much money. UBI. We need it today.
Oh my gosh. Go on.
I'm just saying.
Any other notes?
No, I've got so many notes. Are you kidding me? Still going.
Well, hurry up because I got notes also.
Well, I mean, you can jump in. We can talk about your notes.
We're going to discuss Goddard because he's the worst and I hate him.
Oh.
I need to. What did we think about the fact that he thought that people should enjoy killing and that he thought it was such a big deal to showboat it and they would go do the mass gleanings?
I thought it was awful. And there's probably all kinds of psychological reasons that his nanites aren't messing with that's causing him to be like that.
That's the thing. Why were his nanites so cool with him being an insane mass murderer?
I feel like he probably turned them off.
I could see that. Yeah, they had a tweaker.
They did that to Rowan, and I think all of them still had their pain nanites off.
Yeah. What was the one that regretted
Volta
all the time? Volta, yeah. Okay, so Goddard had a group of lackeys essentially, and they were all loved killing except for Volta, who cried after every mass gleaning, which broke my heart. And the fact that he,
little baby,
spoiler alert, the fact that he self-gleaned himself so early.
Yeah, he was 20 something. He was not old.
He was young,
very young.
Was just so depressing. I felt so bad for him.
I don't know why he couldn't get away from Goddard.
I think it's just one of those things you feel trapped. I mean, you've been beaten down. I mean, think about what Rowan went through. I don't think that Volta is a super strong,
Yeah, he's not a very strong individual,
I think that he broke very easily. And it's basically an abusive relationship. You think, I don't have anywhere else to go. This is the best it's going to be for me. And it's I don't know.
And Goddard's scary almost to other sides, because he's willing to do some really shady crap to get back at you and to put you in your place.
Yeah.
So I could see where he would be scared to leave.
Well, also he really did, for some reason, admire Goddard, truly admire Goddard.
Yeah. I think that was the whole abusive relationship thing.
Really
I think maybe he thought that, and then he got with him, and things start off, slow, these parties are fun, yada, yada, yada. And then things just get progressively worse and worse.
Yeah.
That's any kind of abusive relationship.
Yeah, it's exactly how an abusive relationship works.
That was always the impression I got from that whole situation. So we kind of skipped over how Rowan ended up with Goddard.
Oh, yeah. We kind of needed to backtrack a little bit.
That was one of the things we wanted to touch on in the last episode. However, I think it's better that we saved it for this one. This is the spoiler episode. So it ends up, it becomes a huge thing that Scythe Faraday took on Citra and Rowan because it's never been done. There's never a precedent of a Scythe having two apprentices. And so Citra fails one of her first tests, and then Rowan decides to throw it. And that makes everybody like, oh, well, they're just going to protect each other the whole time. Let's really up the ante. And they essentially say, so whoever gets chosen as the Scythe gets to glean the other as their first act.
That was Goddard.
Well, yeah, it was Rand, but yeah, definitely Goddard had a hand in that for sure. Mm-hmm. And so in order to save them both, free them from their apprenticeships, he decides, he self-gleans.
Scythe Faraday.
Scythe Faraday does. Self-gleans. Instead of actually them being freed from their apprenticeships, Goddard steps up to try and get both of them, but Scythe Curie steps in to get Citra. So that is how they're split up.
Okay, can I just say, while listening, I always imagine Scythe Curie played by Maggie Smith. McGonagall.
Okay, for me...
that would be good.
That's who I see.
Helen Mirren, yeah.
See, she would be good too.
Oh, yeah.
But that's the kind of... That's what I see in my head is Maggie Smith. They need to make a movie and cast her because she's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another... I also love Scythe Curie.
Yeah. I love how she decides to glean. She goes and finds people who she thinks look stagnant in life. You know, they're done. Yeah, they're just done. So she gleans them and she does it quick and she doesn't, beat around the bush with it or anything like that. But then she goes and invites the family of them to her house for dinner and grants them immunity. And like the one time she offers to let the person, was it the wife of the man that she gleaned? She's like, you can glean me. And, kill me. You can kill me.
Yeah.
Because it's not gleaning. You can kill me. And they're like, I can't do that. And she's like, you won't be, punished. I'll be revived within a couple days. It'll be fine. And, no one takes her up on it. But the fact that she's like, I get it. You're angry, you know.
And she also took the time to have them tell the stories of who she gleaned.
Yeah.
And she really sat and listened and got to know them even after she had gleaned them. So it was really, really cool. And she cooked dinner for them. Like, that was a thing that she did. And that from the rest of the Scythedom, you kind of get a feel like that's not something normal that a Scythe would do. Yeah. So that was another...
It's the compassion.
Yes.
And that's what Citra was trained with.
Yeah, she was trained with Curie. And I think you can really see that later on in the books, like how that affects her.
Yeah.
I do sort of agree with Citra, though, that what if you're just having like an off day or a down day and and you get gleaned because of this? I don't think it's the best way of deciding, but I feel like you need to like watch people for longer to really get that vibe from them. She does it very quickly.
Yeah.
Aside from that, though, I like her method, and I like the cooking afterwards. It's a good, compassionate thing to do.
And Citra was lucky; she had two good Scythes as mentors.
Yeah, Rowan got stuck with Goddard, and one of the first things they do is turn off his pain nanites and then beat the crap out of him.
And his healing nanites.
Yeah, and they're like, so you can feel what your ancestors felt, and like to go from a life of like no pain, essentially, healing really quickly, to all of a sudden being laid up in bed because you got beat so bad that somebody has to spoon feed you.
Yeah.
Is horrible.
Oh, man. Yeah.
And then he, like, trains him, like, super, super hard, trains him, makes him go on these mass gleanings with him, and then starts making him train with real people.
Mm-hmm.
And Rowan's so young, his mind is still developing. And so that's, like, critical.
His struggle is so hard to listen to because I said it in the last episode, I really feel like Rowan is and could have been a young Scythe Faraday. Like, Scythe Faraday take two.
So compassionate.
Yeah.
And Goddard essentially makes him enjoy killing. But
I think the only thing that made him hang on to his sanity, I mean, he was a strong person, but it was his feelings for Citra.
Yeah. Because he kept on thinking, because he talked to himself, Citra's going to kill me. Citra's going to kill me because I'm going to throw this.
Yeah.
And she's going to kill me. So he was like trying to come to terms with the fact that he was going to be gleaned.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that he honestly believed that Citra would have been better because he was stuck with Goddard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is messed up that people enjoy killing this much.
Yeah.
Yeah, the enjoyment of the killing was really the bad part about that. I think actually the rest of the training wasn't nearly as bad as it could have. It was very effective. Like, I can see the motivation for some parts of it, right? The feeling pain just so you can see what it felt like. I think they shouldn't have left him there for 3 days or whatever, how long it was.
No.
But, like, getting that sense, this is what we used to feel like. This is why we're doing stuff like this. And then having him do all of the training and stuff like that to make it, I guess, easier for him. I don't know if he needs to be easy to kill people, but it's a very effective training method. The mass cleanings and trying to get him to enjoy killing, though, that is terrible.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
And the fact, I didn't understand too, it's like these professional partiers or whatever they were that were asked to do things that so I don't think it was such a great job, because I think you could have been asked to do things that were.
I mean, yeah, he says that there's you sometimes have to do things that you may not want to do.
And the fact that the people got paid to be killed.
Yeah.
But I mean, they applied for that.
I know. Yeah.
Because, Tiger was like, can you hook me up? And so he's like, I go deadish all the time. Might as well get paid for it. So maybe they were also like,
why do they need, I don't know, why do they need the money?
Okay, they did talk about that a little bit, but again, it's that whole economy issue. So you have a UBI, right? So you don't need to get a job. You can just be whatever on the system. But if you want to get better stuff, like higher end stuff for you specifically, you want a personal car, you want a nice house, then you have to get a job and get the money to pay for that. And apparently the whole getting killed thing is, very well paying.
And I imagine there's also that whole like adrenaline rush with it too, because there's adrenaline junkies now.
True.
So if you can do these crazy things, and if you end up dead, you're getting revived.
Yeah, I feel like that's a really niche market for splatters.
Yeah.
There's like 50-something billion people on this planet. There's going to be a few people who probably just enjoy it. Like getting killed. And not just splatting because they enjoy like the falling experience and like, messing up everybody's day, but also just
Maybe it's
enjoy
they just
dying.
need to really feel something.
Yeah. Which, it could be that.
To feel something. Mm-hmm. Intensely.
I mean, I totally get killed a few times just to see what it was like.
See, and they shook their heads at me. I think the same thing.
Cannot relate.
The curiosity would win out.
See, I guess I'm too old school. I would doubt if it would really work.
The impulsive thoughts.
I know, it's like
just my luck. I won't be coming back.
The impulsive thoughts would win so often. It's like with me.
I'm just like, I wonder if I just stepped off this thing right now.
If you're the same person.
No, listen, my intrusive thoughts are bad enough. I don't need
my intrusive thoughts would win so much. Like, I wonder what would happen if I did this.
Yeah, so there's that philosophical discussion to be had. I don't think it happens here because they were all raised in this society where it just is accepted. You're coming at it from you have your own experiences now versus what you have been like growing up in that society, right?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I think I would have had trouble transitioning from the mortal world to this one.
Which might be why people self-glean, like the Scythes self-gleaned themselves so early too, because they were alive during the mortal age.
Yeah.
Yeah, the early ones,
It would be a hard adjustment.
Mm-hmm.
I think once you get to a certain point, though, it would be just easy. But actually, that's one thing I did notice. So they mentioned at some point in there the average age that you would live effectively in this world is like 5,000.
Yeah, something like that.
Isn't that crazy?
I think you would get bored with life at that point.
I would be so bored.
I would either be super bored or I would know every single language. I have read every single book. I do cross-stitching 24/7.
We could get through our TBRs.
Yeah. Like,
whoa.
That's the kind of stuff I think about, but it's literally all the stuff I almost never make time for.
What a world.
Yeah. And I don't know.
Could read every book in the world.
Yeah.
I just get really good at everything. Like, just period, everything.
Yeah, just like Renaissance.
But a lot of people didn't do that, which I thought was interesting.
I think that wasn't it said that they tried to do that originally, like there at the first, and then it just kind of like they were like, yeah, we're done.
Yeah.
Well, it's also like a fairly early time period for this. Like the oldest people are just a few hundred years old, right? Like, I mean, that's a long time, but, you know, it's not that long. Like, was it Anastasia knows like 12 languages or something like that?
No, that was Marie.
Marie, Curie, not Anastasia. Yeah, Marie Curie. She knows like 12 languages. So clearly some people do this sort of stuff where they learn a ton. You know what I would do, guys? I would go to space.
Oh my God.
Punch you in the face.
Unless it's a very satisfying reason why they don't go, I'm going to be upset. I'm just letting you guys know now.
Okay.
Just keep reading.
Just
keep reading. Just keep reading.
Let me see here. What are we going to talk about? Like the final test,
I think
or
we
do we
should.
want to leave
Yeah.
it? Yeah. Okay. So the final test, actually, the second test, Rowan and Citra
Both
fail again. So their last test is the final test, and that one is a real doozy. Every single Scythe apprentice has to take this same exact test, and you pass or fail. You can do it, you cannot, you can walk out, you don't have to attempt it. And it is essentially killing the person that you love dearly. And Citra's...
Dude, I cried.
Every time.
I cried. Both times I read this book,
Yeah.
I cried when Citra had to do hers.
Okay, I don't understand this test. It seems so dumb to me. Because
It's to see how you would glean. To see. If
I know it's to see how you would
compassionate.
glean. If it's a loved one, okay, Ariel. I'm just gonna be real honest with you. If they
You're
said
gonna kill me.
if they said
well, you fail,
to
Zach.
me,
You'd be like Rowan. It took me no time to shoot my mom in the head. You'd be like, yeah, it was not hard at all to just.
it's like
off
you're
my
gonna come back.
sister.
I just asked a quick question: is she being gleaned or is she coming back to life? And then they'd be like, she's coming back to life. So I go over there and be like, yo, Ariel, I'm gonna like Merc you real quick.
You would never live that down. I would always be like, yeah, well, you remember when you killed me?
I think...
Like, you got the
think
good
for
ice
Citra-
cream, didn't you?
I'd be like, you owe me. You killed me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you got the ice cream.
Yeah.
You got the
No
ice
matter,
cream.
man.
That's your
More
reward.
ice cream.
It's just one death.
No.
And nobody cares.
No.
You'll forget about it in a couple hundred years. Whatever.
I would never forget. I'd have a note on my mirror in
But
my house.
you
Be
would
like,
do it-
Zach killed me.
You would do it to him, though.
Absolutely, I'd kill him.
Like, okay, let's switch it around then. If you had to kill me, I'd be like, okay, cool, whatevs, bro. You do you.
I would feel bad. I would though. See, I'd kill you. It would happen. You would die. But
Good stuff. I don't care.
I'd probably cry about it afterwards because I would see that in my head over and over. You know, I would have that guilt.
I mean, I
Okay.
just don't
I
understand the
think
guilt. I don't know.
I think the difference for that one is that her brother was younger.
So young.
It's
Yeah.
like, what if it was one of your nieces or nephew?
Yeah, you gonna kill my kids?
Let me think here.
They probably would make it a niece or nephew that
Yeah.
I think they want to try to make it as hard as possible.
Yeah.
But
If it was either of you two, I'd whatevs.
The love.
No problem. If it was like,
Yeah, like what if they stuck like Rowan in there?
oh no.
not Rowan, but Rowan.
Yeah, my Rowan.
Yeah.
I mean, if they stuck Rowan in there, I don't think I'd let her know beforehand. I'd be like, you want some ice cream? And then she'd be dead.
Close your eyes, Rowan.
Yeah, just close your eyes.
We're getting ice cream.
And the thing is, though, that you have to use whatever weapon they gave you.
Weapon, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the part that really sucks. Because I don't think that's how I would want to glean with a weapon personally.
I think the poison pill where Scythe Faraday gives that one lady the pill and he's like, as soon as you bite into it,
Yeah,
you're dead.
I would do something sort of like that. Or like
What if it was a rope?
God, that would be awful. That would be traumatic.
rope would be pretty bad. That would be pretty bad.
I don't think I could do that one.
Well, okay, so if you do it right, I'm presuming they could do it right. You can knock somebody out in a few seconds with a rope, like cutting off their blood flow. It wouldn't be as bad. It's not like you're hanging them or anything.
It's still traumatic.
Oh, it'd be traumatic. I just like the gun would probably be the best one of those things, I think.
Yeah.
I think it was a horrible test.
Yeah.
I mean, I see the reason behind it, but I still think it was like
I think people made too big of
because
a deal of it.
you have scarred that Scythe.
Yeah.
Nah, they're fine.
And
Yeah.
the person that they love. And I think that's
Yeah.
a big part of it too. Basically, her brother understood for sure and knew that Citra was not enjoying it, but it still would, I feel like if I were to do that to one of my siblings or a niece and nephew, it would be super scarring if you ever have to see them again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was chosen for you to be a test and you killed me.
I would cry
Like,
every
even if
time.
you knew, and I don't think I would be able to look at them the same either. And it's
that's kind of,
essentially
I think,
just
what
to
they want to
cut
do.
the final
Yeah.
tie between your old life and your new life. Yeah. That one's a heavy one.
Yeah.
And then we go on to the official like ringing, or what do they call it?
Bejeweling.
Bejeweling,
Yeah.
Ringing. Wow, look at me.
It's ring.
The bejeweling, they the Scythedom picks Citra to be the Scythe, and so her task is to glean Rowan, and
she gets out of it, man.
before
So
she
smart.
does,
Absolutely brilliant.
the first time I listened, I was like, what is she doing? Just kill him. And she like punches him in the face, and I was like, you sly dog. Like, it
I
just
loved
straight
it.
up immediately
good.
I knew.
I love how she
Yeah.
was like, this is for breaking my neck.
Oh, loved it.
I was like, oopsie daisy, didn't mean to.
I didn't know that it would put his DNA on my ring.
Yep. And then she's like, there's this and this. Red.
That's wild, isn't it? Crazy. I guess he can't be gleaned for a year.
And then let's talk
Darn.
about, I forgot totally to talk about this. This was a total life changer whenever I was reading this book the first time. Whenever Citra goes to find Scythe Faraday's killer. And she shoots the killer in the knee, and she gets over to him, and it's Scythe Faraday.
Oh my God, you should have seen her. She messaged me in all caps. She's like, he's alive! It was so funny. Because she was like, oh my God, I can't believe he died. You know, she kept on messaging me about it. And I already knew because I had read it. And I was like, just keep reading.
I was
I'm
pretty sure
mourned.
someone had killed him.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like, there has been, and
Yeah,
he should be revived because he was murdered.
Yeah.
You know, but
Yeah.
I mourned so hard. And the first time I read that book, and then it came back. And even the second time around, I knew it was coming, and I was like, if you only knew, Citra. Don't shoot, Citra.
And the fact that Marie knew and didn't tell.
That one pulled my heartstrings, too.
Well, she couldn't.
I know
You can't.
she
I mean,
could. But it also was like, of course she knew.
yeah.
Power couple. Even though they can't be a couple.
Yeah, I really wish they could be.
Oh.
I think it's crazy that you can't. Because being able to care for somebody like that saves your humanity.
Yeah.
Instead of all that isolation.
Yeah. And they snuck around for 7 years. That's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's because you're going to have some sort of additional bias. Like, especially if you have kids. I mean, I can see them having a relationship. That makes sense to me. But having kids would be a bad idea, I think.
Yeah, because you could build a dynasty at that point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
I
that could
mean,
go bad.
yeah, I think not having kids would be a good commandment, but
Yeah.
not having a
Having a
relationship.
loved one, yeah. Someone to
Mm.
spend some time with.
That would just, I don't know.
I thought that was wrong.
Yeah.
It's like, almost at that point, it's like a religious thing. You must be celibate or, which is
Yeah.
like,
Well, they don't
never
have to be
goes well.
celibate. They just have to not get married.
Oh, the one night stands.
Yeah, but as a Scythe, how many people are going to be like, yeah, I'd do that? I mean, I know I'm here. I know,
Are you kidding me?
I know me, but like, I'm an
How many
exception.
people?
I'm an exception, not a rule. Okay.
You'd be like, yes.
No, if you just hop on Tinder and you're like, I'm a side, you'd be getting hit up all the time.
Scythe Tinder.
No, so many people probably.
Oh, yeah.
So
100%.
they would think, I can get immunity this way. Or
Or
whatever.
like, yeah, maybe like the thrill of danger out of
Yeah.
it. Maybe, I guess. I just don't feel like it would be, I don't know.
Just don't glean your people afterwards.
Yeah.
Because that would
could
end that
be-
real fast.
If you were a woman
There
side, you
probably
could
are.
be a praying
I was going to
mantis or
say,
a black
is there like
widow.
a succubus side?
Man, I want to do that now.
Oh my
Keep
God.
talking, Zach, because
This is why we can't be together.
Okay, no, I actually put, by the way, just hopping back for 1 second, I put directly that I was not convinced by this final test. I'm just saying.
you weren't convinced.
Yeah, because
What
I
about
think
it
it's a
didn't
silly
convince you?
test and it doesn't actually test anything because I would have no trouble murking one of you guys. What was my point? I don't think it does
depending
anything.
on who it was, I would.
No, I would have no
Well-
trouble with basically anybody because they're just going to get brought back to life and nobody cares.
Whatever, you liar. You wouldn't kill my kids.
Oh, I'd kill them so quick.
Not without at least like preparing them
say,
in some
like,
little way.
No, I see. I think I would specifically do it so they weren't prepared. I'd like make them chill out for a little bit, like, calm down, whatever, because I'm sure they're scared just being there, and then you just
that's
pop
still
them.
preparing them.
Like, it's just like making them chill out a little bit. It's like, no, I'm here, it's all good, and then all of a sudden they're just dead, and they're like, what happened? Wake up with ice cream.
No.
You're never seeing the kids ever again.
Yeah, you're done.
Well, I mean,
You're done.
it's okay. You guys got immunity for life or whatever. So,
Well, actually, family does have immunity.
Yeah.
although it's only if you live with them, it sounds like,
Yep. So
or lived with them.
Citra's family.
No, I think it's more than that.
no, because Rowan's family, his mom was upset because people wouldn't move out now.
Exactly, because you had to be like that immediate family.
Yeah.
Well, and then you had to move in beforehand to make sure everybody's safe.
Yeah.
Just buy an apartment building and everybody moves in together.
There you go. That could work.
Yep.
Well, can we talk about the good death or deaths, which
Oh,
was one of my
okay, yeah.
favorite parts?
The last mass gleaning.
Yes.
Oh, you mean with the tonists? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
that
I
was
was like,
so
what
hard.
good deaths? What are you talking about?
Rowan was brilliant, and that.
Oh my gosh,
That was
I loved
fantastic.
that.
I absolutely loved that part. I didn't like the whole thing with Volta, like killing all the kids and then cleaning himself. That was very sad.
But that
That
was
was
really
very
even the second
Darth
time.
Vader of him.
Yeah.
But that was also the part that pushed Rowan over the edge.
Yeah.
And he.
I
just took care of
loved
his
when
breaking
he stabs Goddard and he goes, "You're right. I did enjoy that." And I'm like, yes.
But then he cuts his head off. I was like, oh,
and burnt them to
And then
crisp.
burn him. Yeah, he was like, "You ain't coming back."
That was
You're
dope.
Not
That was super
touching
dope.
This place, yeah,
Mhm. And walks out with his ring and his
and
robe.
his robe.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Straight up, I just really, it's like one of those yes moments. Like, yes, you did break me, but I'm still me, and I'm gonna do what you trained me to do my way. Like,
Yeah.
it's one of those final.
Loved it.
Oh,
Yeah, it kind of it backfired on Goddard pretty bad, but that he trained him so well because he was way
Mhm.
better than any of them. I think that's actually a thing. I imagine Scythe stagnate after a while because they don't get challenged in any way.
yeah.
But yeah, definitely shouldn't have trained him that well because he just straight up killed them all. It was glorious. I loved it.
Yep.
It was amazing.
It was really good.
I wanted to cheer.
I did both times.
I think I did too.
Yeah.
Closing thoughts?
It's a fantastic book and everybody should read it.
I definitely want to read the rest of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Highly recommend doing that.
Oh man, I didn't get to say it. Last time I mentioned that season 2, episode 3, Love, Death, Robots thing. The whole premise is that people do the same sort of thing. They like turn the corner, they get younger. But in this place, because they're worried about overpopulation, having kids is illegal. And if you do have kids, you get killed. And so do your kids.
That's
To keep the population under control. Kind of wild. So that was an interesting, different take on this whole issue of immortality. But I'd say watch the episode. This book was fantastic, though.
It was. And it really makes you think about a lot of different questions
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of different moral issues and basic human behaviors.
Yeah. Yeah. This whole series really does that.
Yeah, I can't wait for you to read
Ugh.
the rest of them
And
because
I have
it's
to
killing
wait.
me.
I
I
have
think
to
I might
wait.
have to reread the rest of them now.
I've seriously considered it. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's-
Because I got too much homework.
Mhm.
I'll be done with the third one probably tomorrow or the next day. This weekend, definitely.
Good. Just message us in like, well, I don't know if we should do book club chat. I don't know that everybody's read all of them. Make a new group and Signal for just me, you, and Mallory, and we'll discuss.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good.
All right, we're going to hop off of here. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Reading Room Ruffians. And remember, only the best libraries have librarians who don't shush you.